There's something called the stages of a sales force. And I'm not going to go through every one of these. I would encourage you, when you get a copy of this presentation, to look at this and peg your organization. Say, what process do we have in place right now? If you've ever joined a gym with only the end goal in mind, and you don't have a process and a discipline to achieve the end goal, what happens? You quit. Or you go to something like this and you get inspired. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. You know where the inspiration you feel today will wear off? Probably before the parking lot, Linda. It'll probably be halfway down the stairs, right? Listen, inspiration's joining a gym the day after Thanksgiving. Discipline is going when you don't feel like it. What I'm about to show you is going to be discipline. So, well, you've got to say, what process do I have in place now? If I want to change, I've got to know where I am now. And you may look at this and say, we are exactly where we need to be. You may look at this and say, there's some things that we need to change in our organization. And we describe business development processes when we work with nonprofit organizations. We can usually describe them between stage 1 and 4. I'll give you the highlights of each one, and then look at this when you get back to your office and say, where are we right now? And I would tell you, statistics would tell you 70 to 85% of nonprofit organizations are what we would describe as stage 1. This is what we could do 10 years ago. Listen to the characteristics. I wait for donors to contribute. I wait. Lord, let the phone ring. Come on. That direct mail we sent out, oh, I hope we see some checks coming back in. Please, because you know what? We need more money more than ever. But you know, for most organizations, those checks that were coming in are doing this and this and this. That phone is ringing less and less often. But yet the other phone of people who need your services is ringing more. Stage 1. Infrequent, proactive, in between sponsorship, in between donation calling. Infrequent. Sometimes I get to Friday and I don't even know what I did this week. I don't know. I know program services, I really focused on it, but the problem is there's something underneath your program services. It's called funding for your program services. And if we're not focused and making time, not finding time, making time for proactive, in-between relationship calling, we start to say all of a sudden we are disconnecting from our donors. And when you say the industry trends are we need to reconnect with our donors, we're starting to say, uh-oh, trouble, 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 trouble. An overdependence on board members for leads. You know, there's some great boards, and I would imagine most of you, with Etta, I talked to her about her board, and she says, I got a great board, man. Some of your boards are very proactive in finding leads. Some of your boards show up, and they eat baked chicken, and they talk about the finances. And they come up with these ideas that they think are inspirational, and they give them to you. And this board member has an idea, this one has an idea, and this one has an idea. And they say, go do these ideas. And when you come back for the next board meeting, what happens? Nobody's talking about the ideas anymore. Then we say, well, why don't we do this now instead of this? And all of a sudden, you get what's called conflicting messages. Conflicting messages. And most organizations, when they get conflicting messages, wait for the message to be clear. If somebody would just tell me what they want me to do and not change the messages, I'll do it. But every time I start doing and going in one direction, I change to this direction, and all the while these industry trends are changing, and we're disconnecting from the donor. So you're going to see the importance of aligning the messages from your board to the organization, from the organization to your staff, from your staff to the donor is essential for behavioral change. Stage, I'll finish that up. Little structure or planning to what I do, and I'm working what's in my face. Working, and you know what? In great economic times, what's in your face are opportunities. In bad economic times, what are in your face are problems. I'm glad you found that humorous. When organizations move to stage 1 to stage 2, what just happens is we just turn up the heat to activity. It's all about activity. Somebody says if you call X number of donors, you're going to get X number of qualified leads, X number is going to close, so just make more calls. And then you're saying, I'm the only staff member I have. You want me to make more calls, what are we going to do? And all of a sudden the infrastructure of the organization starts pulling you back like a sucking machine back to your desk. But yet everyone else is saying you got to do more activity, okay? It's creating strain, right, Linda? It creates strain. A focus on event management, single donation, calling the same donors over and over and over again, expecting different results. Stage 2. Stage 3 are what you see of high-performing organizations. And everything in stage 3 is not about inspiration, it's about discipline, where we start, say, regular calling on a targeted group. I'll show you data in just a minute that 10% of your donors make up 90% of the revenue of your organization. Time management is priority management. Priority management is market management. They have a market management process in place that says, I have identified the best opportunities in Thomasville, Georgia, of prospective donors, existing donors, and centers of influence that can refer me the right type of donors. And I focus my most precious commodity, my time, on those people because they constitute my organization. Which means there's got to be a process in place for knowing who those people are, a plan in place for between transactions, and we got to execute that plan. A plan unexecuted is a waste of time, okay? We go to board retreats and we create plans, right? If that plan's unexecuted, it's a waste of time to develop that plan. So you're going to see, we're going to have to put a process in place that says we got to be looking at this stuff and creating processes in our organization to create this discipline to adjust to the industry changes. Regular calling on a targeted group. I know the donors I want. I'll work until I get them. And a focus on wallet share. Wallet share means every time I get a donation, I'm going back and building a deeper relationship with someone to repopulate my pipeline for business that I can develop from highly qualified donors. Peg your organization. Where are you? Look at the industry trends and challenge yourself. Okay, what process do I have in place at my organization to make sure I'm changing with the industry?